Press cross button.
Are you ready for a new operation?
Good timing, yeah. I'll have a bash.
Show me how to do the screaming thing with the, I found all the old bodies from it, sure.
Yeah, all right, absolutely.
Movies these days are all just 2-hour advertisements for toys or cars. Rubbish. End of story.
That's a new one for me. Very cool. Hey, let's have a
the cabbie business and just
Does it fucking how?
they spit in the face of the cabbies with
Whatever.
learning London back in their hands. Oh, cabbies do all the nooks and crannies, the shortcuts, what lines to avoid eye opener. It's all about the feel of the city, not some calculator crunching numbers. Just trying to keep on the feet. But I'm done for. This is about Burton's.
You want something?
Someone's looking to get their ass kicked. The ministry of fees they no way Burton can afford all that, and they bloody knew it. Just give me a minute. Gives the hospital license to heal their well-to-do patients and throw wheelchairs at the rest of us. Sure, I love a bit of company, but when you've only got a band on the choose from, I mean, my names are all boring. My friends and family.
What's this bird story then, Bagley?
She's an activist who's been trying to gather intel on Albion personnel movements through the city. Looks like she wants to stay one step ahead of the goons. Smart.
My guess is, if we help her out, she'd be willing to join the cause.
Understood. The easiest way to obtain the data would be to steal an Albion heavy assault vehicle and dissect its onboard sat-nav. That would give us a clear picture of Albion's recent movements.
Right, I'll have a go.
My bad.
carcass of a once-free Britain.
Yum, yum.
Hello, Resistance fans. You're listening to the Monk Podcast, the objective voice of objection for this most objectionable world. I am Andy, not my real name, so good luck finding me, Mr.
Officers into standby.
All units, I say again, all units, we have reports of a hostile in your area. Over, received. Responding to the situation now.
These days, overcrowded, some might say. Joining me, as always, my next door neighbour, these netherlands of nonsense. It's Alice.
Yes, indeed, it is Alice. Alice, who the bleep is Alice.
Anyone have visual?
I am not going to
Anyone?
tell you that, but you can just sort of sense it from the timbre of my voice.
Let's spin the wheel and find out where we're getting today's news from.
Control. Let's put out an APW.
Yeah,
We're getting nowhere here.
Got a new wheel, at least one other place on it. And the headline today, Alice, are safe. We can all sleep easy.
Possible suspect or suspects reported near your location.
Control, we are ready to engage.
Last month, these illegal people breaking the law just by existing, and of course illegality is contagious. It can osmose through your skin just by standing next to an illegal person. So,
Negative.
we've got
No
over
sign of the
4,000.
target yet.
My question for you, Alice, is why only 4,000? Is that really enough? I will not feel safe until at least another 75 million people have been deported from this country.
All units, disengage. Suspect has disappeared.
As a bleeding heart lefty, Andy, I would normally be outraged about this, but really I think mass deportation is the only way to break up with a partner. I'm sorry about what.
Tension Dangerously armed and hostile. Control, we're in
So
pursuit.
everyone out, no exceptions. Alice, not even you. It's for the good of the country. Unless you can prove that your
Immobilise that
family
vehicle.
are relaxing the Bale Tapestry, cheering on King Harold at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Get out! Actually, that's not British enough. Unless you can show unarguably that your direct bloodline is untainted by
Control,
inheritance before
we
the
are
Romans.
unsighted of suspects. Over.
Unless your direct ancestor was personally responsible for building Stonehenge, get out of my country. I guess when you look at
Search has yielded
best
no
ways to
results.
stop
Report back to
immigration,
HQ.
apart from obviously the end of the world, to make the place you want to stop people coming to as unpleasant as possible. So,
Well, we absolutely are doing that, Andy.
well, you know, fair play to the government for helping us with that. Another option: extend the White Cliffs of Dover. They've been resting on their laurels for too long. Very inefficient, it turns out, as a means of stopping immigration. We need to extend them by about another 11,000 miles, a full round around Great Britain. And they could do with being about a kilometre and a half higher as well, with a special greasy coating to stop people climbing over the top of wherever they get in. Here's a quick joke, please, Alice. Did you hear the one about the woman who went into the immigration processing centre and was never seen again?
No, Andy, I didn't hear that one.
Boom. Set up, punchline. Classic. For those of you unfamiliar with the immigration processing centre, of course, so many of our guests to Britain go for a longer than desirable banking.
the vehicle, now what?
I can confirm that the onboard hard drive contains all the data our friend could need. Pushing you a suitable drop-off point.
On my way.
I had them. Where did they go?
Right, I'm putting a stop to this. Units fall back. Over.
Our activist friend has come to collect the vehicle.
This calls for a chat.
All persons are advised to be vigilant and report any and all suspicious activity.
Hey, nice to see you out
Hello
and
again.
about.
Hope you're having a good day.
What? When your AI said to expect a hard drive, I didn't think it'd come with wheels.
Bagley is a master of understatement. Not the point. The point is, you'll be rather chuffed with what's on that thing's hard drive.
Hell yes. With this data, my people and I will have the upper hand on those Albion knobs. Anything you need, just say the word.
You can go your own way, or you can join DedSec. What do you think?
Sounds like a blast. I'm in.
All vehicles must be fully autonomous or employ an autonomous retrofit assembly. Failure to comply with this directive is a crime.
how much worse can they do if they're not there? I mean, by definition, the fact that there's a spy scandal means that they were terrible spies. The point of spies is that there's never a spy scandal.
Yeah, but let's give credit to all the spies that haven't been in scandals and therefore might as well not exist.
Well, they've arrested those German spies in that SIRS crackdown on the illegals in Hackney, and I think that's a sad thing. I think I used to think of Germans as quite scary, but that was because I'd been watching World War II movies where the Germans all have English accents. They speak in that very, like, precise way. It's very, you know, we have ways of making you talk. And now Germans all have that American accent where it's all like, welcome to the party. We're having a really nice time. They're much friendlier Germans. Let them stay.
Well, that's all today, youngsters. Remember, it's not as bad as it seems. Honestly. I hope. Until next time. Bye-bye.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches. You're listening to The Bug, the Resistance comedy show brought to you by the Buccaneer Network. Bye.
Equivalent of propaganda state, and every resistance that I've ever seen is weaker than the British pound. I feel like hope is an expensive thing to buy these days.
I mean, is it all totally pointless? I mean, it can feel pointless, but then again, I've spent almost all of my life doing pointless things like watching sport, thinking about sport, thinking about watching sport, learning French and hoping for a better future. All completely pointless. But yeah, I've done it, so we might as well carry on. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Yes, I think there is. Unfortunately, what is that light? Is it an oncoming train? Well, no, it couldn't be. Obviously, the train would be late or cancelled. Is the light at the end of the tunnel a burning effigy of the concept of hope? Quite possibly. Is it the soul of Sky Larson imploding into his own vacuum? That may well be that. Is it the ego of Nigel Cass that is now so big that it has sucked all the light in the universe into itself? I think that it's most likely is that, but we'll never give up, Bug fans. This resistance will never die. And one day, we will again be free. Free from these technological chains, free to choose our own futures, free to live our own lives, free to waste our time watching people bake cakes and dance badly again. Those were the days. Before we go, time for a quick bug off. I'm going to nominate this week Sky Larson here at the Bug. We are all in favour of strong, powerful women. And in many ways, Sky is the ultimate feminist icon. Women can do just as abominably awful things to this planet as men. I mean, overall, Alex, I think we're still ahead as men, but you lot are catching up. Fair play to you. You are listening to The Bug.
Counter-terrorism, counter-intelligence, countering organised crime. Signal Intelligence Response leads the world in surveillance. It's great British technology protecting great British values. SIRS. Watching over Britain. Watching out for you.
To today's episode of The Upload. We're talking about the optic and how it's changed our lives. Now, as you remember, Blue announced a new version of the optic at the recent Tone conference, but we haven't heard too much about that since due to the dramatic events there. Let's cast our minds back and consider the technology. I mean, the optic changed everything. It lets you see things in AR. You no longer need a smartphone. You just have the small implant that sends signals to your optic nerve and lets you see your emails, take calls, and browse the internet directly as if the screen was in front of your eyes. Instead of having to carry around a phone, you've just got the small handheld unit. So much lighter and so much more convenient. It's great.
Vicky, you sound like you absolutely love the optic. Do you actually think that it's made our lives any better?
I mean, sure, it's definitely made things a lot easier. It's so simple to call someone now. All you have to do is choose who you want to chat to, and they're there, ready to talk. And browsing the web is so much easier. I remember when you used to have to sit down at a computer with an actual keyboard and mouse and type everything out. And my favourite feature is public transport. With the Optic, you can just walk straight onto the tube. It even acts as a passport. No longer do I have to dig around and try and find my old paper passport just to travel somewhere. Also, I thought that Optic's marketing strategy, making it free for people, was a stroke of genius.
Genius. Bloom was really calculated when it was doing that.
This is London Calling. You're here with me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want. In today's world, we've all had to get used to our every move being tracked by the optic on our temples, by the cameras around us, and with every click we make in life. It seems like everything we do
You have enough personal data on somebody, you're able to predict what it is that they're going to do. You can tell what they might be passionate about, but mostly you can tell what they fear. And if you can tell what someone fears, then you can manipulate them and you can move them in particular directions. Data is collected on citizens in every possible way. Data is collected through surveillance cameras. Data is collected from television sets. They don't even necessarily need to be super smart television sets. Data is collected from voter records. It's collected from how much power you use in your house and how much water.
technology can be used to not only influence us to act as the perfect consumer, but also to prevent us from doing radical and revolutionary things. So technologies in foreign nations that have been used are things like heat map features which show where populations are gathering. In-game rewards can be offered to people to take different routes, things like that. Traffic data can be manipulated to prevent people gathering and protesting, as has happened. Which limits the power of any kind of revolutionary force.
So, if you thought you had a private life, get used to it. You don't. And we're not going to reclaim our lives without a fight. I'm Tash, and you've been listening to Bucket, keeping the resistance free. Keep listening, keep fighting, and remember, nobody owns you but you.
This is boring.
I'm out of data.
Oh, I was playing that game.
I am.
Anywhere, anytime you need us, we're there. Wi-Fi on the fly.
Coming up in today's episode of The Upload, we're talking about how Bagley managed to conquer London. Pretty much my favourite topic. I could talk for hours about the rise of the AI system. It's easy to forget about its origins. It's so present everywhere we go now. Bagley just kind of blends into the background.
Bagley is the service AI that's present in every Optic device. Whether you're using the Optic, Bagley will be there. The AI is streamed to your Optic from Bloom Central Command Center, and it was first created by Skylab and Artec.
One day, I let Bagley answer all of my messages for a whole 24 hours, and no one even noticed the difference.
The other competitors really just couldn't compete with Bagley. Their answers were so much worse. They didn't understand anything, and Bagley pretty much gets everything right first time. Do you have any idea why Bagley really beat all the competition?
Well, it's really the data, isn't it? Ever since Broker hooked up with Bloom, that's when things changed.
And really, that's not actually that great. Bloom.
Around the tech. But they're given this huge amount of training data. It's basically a huge database that's used to teach the AI about patterns in behavior. You know, so if you always travel the same way to your house, it can predict when you're going to go and get a self-driving car ready for you before you even ask for it.
That's pretty terrifying. In some ways, I don't want this data to drive my life. It understands too much at times. Have you heard some of the rumours around the hacked version of Bagley?
I've heard mutterings, yes.
I've heard it's been used by DedSec.
I wouldn't put it past them. It's pretty well known that they're not fans of Bloom. But the idea of a souped-up version of Bagley, given it's already so intelligent, is a bit terrifying.
I wonder what they can actually make it do.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, time is ticking. It's time to give the electorate a good old kicking.
Singing in the rain, it's a clockwork orange in this savage analysis of the British political class.
This cabinet, built of English oak, only upper-class voices were the ones that spoke.
You're listening to Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. With me, Tash. It's hard to believe that advanced country. Those old government promises of adequate food turned out to be just an inconvenience. Today we're short of basic foodstuffs and vital medical supplies. Hundreds have already died of conditions that can be easily cured. The black market means that criminal gangs can clandestinely run our cities. And Prime Minister Devasani isn't even around to pretend to care. How do we go from a consumer paradise to a place of empty shelves fighting for supplies? What turns a land of plenty into a wild west of hoarding, food battles and black market barons? We protect everyone who comes on the podcast by keeping their identities a secret. Here's veteran Let's Fall to Ian on the power behind shortages.
I mean, what was the first thing that happened when Britain sealed itself off? The first stuff that got stopped from coming in was fresh food. I mean, we could live without the fresh food. I mean, everyone's quality of life got instantly worse, but we could live without it. The most damaging part was when the radioactive isotopes stopped coming in. Now, radioactive isotopes, that's what we use in cancer screening, cancer treatment. Now, that stuff, it has a short half-life. Technetium used to save hundreds of thousands of lives just by screening for cancer, let alone testing for cancer. There were some things that could be done. For a lot of it, there was simply nothing that could be done. We had a major problem with drugs for schizophrenia. So we saw such an uptick in the kind of attacks we saw in the street and people suffering on their own because they didn't have mental health drugs. Because those drugs simply couldn't be stopped. We eventually found the same thing with foods that weren't produced in the UK. And the trouble with the UK was we don't produce our own food. We never had. Hundreds of years ago, we produced under half of our own food. So as soon as those rules went up, we started having significant material problems. And Britain always told itself it had this national myth, right, that because it got through the war, that it could go through any kind of hardship. I mean, that wasn't really the case. People during the war were far more frightened than some of this historical stuff makes out. Now, what did you see? People don't want to go through that stuff. They were desperate for the things that they had before, and they were scared. So they went to the black market. The same thing that always happens. And where did the growth of Clan Kelly come from? It came from people wanting things that they could previously get legitimately and could now only get through the black market, funneling funds towards criminality. From there, the situation we have now of this bit of war between criminals and security that seems to dominate what's going on out there on the streets.
Nothing shakes people's faith in capitalism quite as much as when capitalism fails to deliver. Here's underground writer and analyst Alfie for politics.
I think what we've come to now is a realisation that capitalism's essentially failed. I mean, the one key promise that capitalism makes to its citizens is that there will be surplus, that we will have plenty, and that's the whole logic for running society in this way, that people will have enough. And now, with this kind of huge shortages of everything, you're seeing that system collapse. Who are not struggling and short of anything. So this is kind of fundamental inequality of a capitalist system, which is no longer producing the goods for most of us. Shortages are being used as well. I'm not saying that there isn't a real shortage. There possibly is real shortages, but shortages are being used as an excuse. The excuse that there's simply not enough to go around is the justification for maintaining a kind of power of the 1% and leaving the rest of us short.
So if you're starving hungry tonight, if your parents can't get medicine and your brothers and sisters have to steal to eat, remember,
all units, possible suspect or suspects reported near your location.
You've been listening to Buccaneer.
Received. Watching for suspect.
Keep sharing the podcast. There's enough of everything out there for all of us. We just need the guts to take it back.
Negative. No vision of the suspect.
As the pound continues its slide against global currencies, there's never been a cheaper time to visit London. So why is tourism at a 10-year low? Tonight,
Target is long
GBB
gone.
looks at London through the eyes of a visitor.
Over and out.
And it's a wake-up call.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches. Hello Britain, this is The Bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world and smashes itself on the head with it in despair. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice, and...
I deny everything.
Good state of existence. Some good news, at last. There are no medicine shortages, according to the government. None at all. There have been various allegations about that. It turns out they are all fake news. Great night. There are none. There are no shortages of medicine. Don't take it from me. I'm not a medical supplier. Take it from our beloved government. It's fine. In fact, I'm going to read between the lines here. Actually, so there's probably... There's too much medicine, if anything. Just medicines. You can't move for medicine. In fact, just this morning, I tried to pour some cornflakes into a bowl for breakfast and out-tumbled a 12-month course of immunosuppressants, corticosteroids, and anti-retrofrontal neurodilatory estrogen spermatotropic fruit factors.
The people claiming there are medical shortages are probably high on lots of medicine.
But there isn't actually that much more we know about her other than this tech that she's put out into the world.
I've always found it a bit creepy that she's so obsessed with this idea of transhumanism.
Why wouldn't you be? When you've got a mind as amazing as Sky's, why wouldn't you want to take what you've got and actually augment it by working with technology, by improving your physical self, changing your body and the world around you, implementing more technology to extend your life and really sort of extend human capabilities?
You sound pretty much in love with Sky Larson, I have to say.
I can't comment on that, but I am a big fan of her work. She's been one of these people that has transformed the world around us, and just watching how her mind works from afar is pretty incredible, because some of what the technology she's introduced has changed how we all live our lives, and Bagley has been this really incredible assistance to humanity as a whole. Did I ever tell you that I actually interviewed Sky Larson once?
Really? I thought she never spoke to the media or anything.
So this was a long time ago, back in the day when she was a little bit more accessible, and she was one of these people that just had an amazing presence. You were inspired by her very being, and she was just incredibly talented and knowledgeable, and one of possibly the best living people that I've ever met.
I'm not sure you're being too objective there. I mean, I imagine she's not very likable as a person.
She obviously despises humanity in some ways. I think she believes that becoming data is preferable to being human. She's one of these people who's extremely methodical in everything that she does, and she does everything to perfection and really tries to change the world around her and make it a better place for us to live in.
If you say so.
Mates party. Time to play that audition track. Or just listening on the move. We don't want you to drop a beat. We want you to drop the mic. Wi-Fi on the fly.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches. Hello Britain, this is The Bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world and smashes itself in the head with it in despair. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice, and...
I deny everything.
It's just a good state of existence. Some good news, at last. There are no medicine shortages, according to the government. None at all. There have been various allegations about that. It turns out they are all fake news. Trademark. There are none. There are no shortages of medicine. Don't take it from me. I'm not a medical supplier. Anyone take it from our beloved government. It's fine. In fact, I'm going to read between the lines here. Actually, so there's probably... There's too much medicine, if anything. Just medicines. You can't move for medicine. In fact, just this morning, I tried to pour some cornflakes into a bowl for breakfast and out-tumbled a 12-month course of immunosuppressants, corticosteroids, and anti-retrofrontal neurodilatory estrogen spermatotropic fruit factors.
The people claiming there are medical shortages are probably high on lots of medicine that they've been. I, for one, believe that there are no medical shortages, and...
Suspect reported in your area, potentially armed and hostile.
Water and an astrology chart.
Received. Moving in hostile's
You can't
direction.
be too far away from them just prescribing stiff upper lip, like that.
My uncle had a leg removed due to diabetes. They halved his insulin because they said there was less of him to be diabetic.
Control. I've lost the target.
So, anyway, people don't believe what you read or hear about there not being enough medical drugs to go around. It's not true. It's hospital hogwash, it's pharmaceutical flirt lab, it's medical mendacity, it's hippocratic humbug, it's nonsensical narcotic nincompoop. I think I've made it.
Return into
Do not
HQ.
believe the news
Search
telling you that we've
terminated.
run out of medicine. Nor should you believe the empty shelves at the chemists. They're also lying. Do not believe your doctor saying, sorry, we're fresh out of that, you're going to have to eat a carrot and pretend. And do not believe your own cobweb-written medicine cabinet at home. It might look empty, but it's not. For it contains the only medicine any of us truly need. Stirring music, please, producer Chris. Freedom. The medicine of British freedom. And the analgesic knowledge that however ill you may be, you'll be keeping an eye on things freedom.
I'm investing heavily in the placebo effect right now. You're listening to The Bark.
Obviously, I don't entirely mean that, because what is the first rule of the third millennium? If someone in power tells you something is fake news, what is it? Correct. A 110% cast iron, tungsten-coated, granite-centered, cosmically immutable, scientifically unarguable fact. But surely, Alice, the more important question is all these medicine freaks whinging on about feeling a bit poorly or having a fatal but curable illness and slowly dying unnecessarily is this. Do we actually need medicine? If you today got diagnosed with a potentially fatal illness, would you not look around at the nation that we've become and think, hey doc, put your life-saving treatment down, I'm going to take this free one-way bus out of here. Now hold that cover over my face until the twitching stops.
I just don't think we should think of it in such a negative way. Don't think of it as a medicine diet, and you think of it as a series of healthy lifestyle swaps. Swap out anti-inflammatories for antacids. Swap out the iron lung for the aluminium lung. Swap out MRI machines for Mary machines, which is just a lady called Mary telling you you're fine.
Obviously, critical shortages are as much part of the our culture today as things like football.
Urgent call. Possible hostile at your location.
In the old days, and a lot of food
Received, we are in
shortages,
pursuit.
we just learn to live with them, don't we? And there's a lot of positives as well. As a nation, the government's just helping us live healthier lifestyles. It's so hard to die on your own, isn't it? You need the support
Any sign of the
friend,
target?
or a loved one,
Anyone?
or a government, or collapsing social infrastructure. Positive 2, meat. Very bad for the environment. So we're actually rebuilding the polar ice caps every time we eat a scrap of food. Positive 3. We've done it. Tick it off. We've done it. I'll pull the food out. I've been eating it all my life. If you've been doing the same thing 3 times a day, 4, sometimes 7, or even 8 times a day, you're bound to get bored of it. And also, final positive, no more meal times. Frees up all that extra time for
Search units disengage.
This
This search is pointless.
Well, as you say, Andy, people are drawn to novelty, and everyone's had breakfast once. Why do you keep having it again?
It's recipes I learn at home. Recipes I cook at home. Recipes that make Salt Cray a home to everyone. Salt Cray. Caribbean food. The Caribbean way. Cryptocurrency accepted.
You're listening to The Bar.
Nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain. Hello resistors, this is The Bug, and on today's show, Alice and I will be looking at the big questions, such as, are we less than 2 years away from being able to turn a sausage back into a live pig? Did we actually need polar bears anyway? What do they really do? If I put Optic on my dog, can I train him to take himself for a walk and do my shopping on the way home? And is tennis real? But first, it's a question that no one's really addressed. London is going to be safer than ever, Alice. SIRS is installing thousands of additional CCTV cameras. So still looking out for us after all these years.
Yeah, it puts a lot of fun into my life now. I get to play this role-play game where I pretend to know my loved ones better than some twat behind a screen in the SIRS headquarters.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't complain. We're stepping into the vacancy left on it. What's it going to be this time? Not bacon again, please. Please, not bacon. I couldn't. Courgettes. Ban courgette. I could take you banning courgettes. I'm happy with that.
Makes me feel important knowing that I'm being watched with everything I do, Andy.
Well, it's just not. It's reassuring, isn't it? It's like having an extra aunt.
This is the aunt that gets drunk at Christmas and vomits in the kiddie pool, right?
Get that on. This is the bug on the Buccaneer. Let's move on now to sport. Well, the closest thing we have to sport now, riots. I mean, riots are my favourite sport now, Alice, ever since they turned the Oval from a cricket ground into the immigration processing centre. And, yeah, rioting is a great sport. It's fun for all the family. It's guaranteed action. It's pleasingly violent. I mean, I know the underdogs never win, but, I mean, that's like top-level football in the gun, but it's still fun to root for them, isn't it? Go team, people of Britain. Oh, never mind, you've been crushed by the machinery of the state again. Still, good effort, lots of positives to take away from today's riot. I'll come back stronger next time. Our luck's going to turn, I can feel it. It's our season. It's our season.
You can't spell riot without right, and by right I mean right wing. So, who do we turn to for help, support and assistance in Definite Tom's IDs? Well, our artificial intelligent friend Bagley's rogue, estranged brother. The one that tells it as it really is, and as it is pretended to be. Exclusive to this show, Bugley. Remember, life's worse with Bugley. Here goes. Bugley.
Hello, Andy.
Bugley, tell me the path to true lasting happiness.
Andy, to find true lasting happiness, find a disused quarry, scream into it for half an hour, and then lock yourself in a shed forever.
Thanks, Bugley. You know the answer to everything.
Hey, Bugley, how many seashells does she sell by the seashore?
Alice, most of the seashore is now uninhabitable, so I would highly recommend she sees her doctor before engaging in any commercial proximity to the ocean.
Bugley, how can I stop worrying about being disappeared by Clan Kelly every time I go to the shop, or take the bus, or sit on a bench, or look at a tree, or point at a bird, or think about snooker, or get out of bed?
Andy, do not worry about Clan Kelly.
Why not, Bugley? They terrify me to my very core.
Because, Andy, we are all just dust in the wind of history.
That's nice perspective, Bugley. Let's never lose sight of that.
Hey, Bugley, how do you put a secret hideout in your basement without alerting your narc children and their tracking devices?
Please hold still, Alice, while I report you to the authorities.
Bugley, will things ever get better?
Yes, Andy. The heat death of the universe is only 5 billion years away now.
Oh, it's so nice to have something to look forward to. That's all from the Bug today. Keep it real, Bug fans. Actually, that's terrible advice. Keep it as unwritten as you can possibly manage. The Bug, nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain.
Yum, yum.
Hello, Bugs. This is the Bug. I'm Andy. This is Alice, and today we're going to be pretending that everything is fine. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? That was as long as I could manage. It's my second and a half. A reality time now, however. And, well, finally today, we're going to road test the latest update to the CSAVE app, the government app that has brought the great British tradition of snitching on people you don't like back to the very heart of public life, the school playground. I'm going to tell you, Fred, it's got a whole new lease of life these days, thanks to CSAVE. And isn't Britain all the more fun because there's no more grumbling about your neighbours playing their music too loud, just simply report them to the state and have them, shall we say, involuntarily rehoused at Hotel Gas, the chain of hotels formerly known as the prison service. What was the slogan? Was it, if you see something, say something, or if you think you might at some point see something, say something, or if you haven't seen anything but don't like someone, say something anyway. So, well, let's have a look at this new app. Alice, I'm sure you've got it on your phone. I mean, at first glance, well, the interface is lovely. It's so neatly designed. It's a simple button to snitch on someone. That's so much better than non-government informer apps like Stool-Easy, Canary, and Narkshark. I mean, look, I just need to geocache where the person I'm ratting on currently is. Let's call her, for the sake of argument, Alice. non-government banking music and is covertly plotting the downfall of the government and the restoration of the true democracy. Thank you.
Yeah, just define all your household chores as patriotic. And if they fail to do them, dob them in.
Problem solved.
If you don't do the washing up, do you even want a clean British ethnostat?
This is the bug on the Buccaneer.
The bug.
Well, before we go today, Alice, let's delve into what we most miss about the old days. I'm going to kick off with the flag. I never thought I'd miss the old Union Jack, but somehow our new flag managed to be even more irritating than that. I don't know quite what it is, if it's the new colour scheme, or if it's just that it symbolises the loss of everything we once held dear. But that flag irritates the hell out of me.
Was everything you ever held? And Sandy.